This Bitcoin move is far from over. Bitcoin just of course made new all-time highs, but ultimately I personally think that Bitcoin is going to be heading much higher based on this October fractal and this October comparison out of 2020. So let's discuss exactly that within today's update video, because this is now perfectly playing out, but we will discuss a lot more than only that. Like all of the most important Bitcoin charts, we'll take a deep dive into charts and a big update on my Ethereum trading position. Of course, we will also look into the Ethereum charts themselves, and I will give my outlook on altcoins and the upcoming altcoin season. So since 2025 is mimicking the 2020 cycle now, with first of all finding some very important support after making a new all-time higher, finding some major support, moving back up, eventually breaking through the most important resistance in the consolidation phase, and from there a big lift-off phase. And I think that phase is going to be what's next for Bitcoin. Maybe not with the same magnificence or significance, but ultimately I do think that this is just not going to be one more Bitcoin all-time high. I do think we could be breaking higher for that final wave and final stage of the cycle, because that is something we do usually see seasonality wise in that ending stage of the post-halving year. Also, this fractal out of 2020 is showing us that yes, indeed, in September we see this move back to the downside, and then in October we start moving back up again, and that aligns with my thesis that I think Bitcoin is going to take the spotlights in this October month, and has been already doing so here for the last few days, with of course making new all-time highs. Also perfectly bouncing off the bull market support band, so that of course looks amazing. We've seen this coming on the channel because we did know we saw this major close above the bull market support band, and since then we've only been heading higher. So of course that looks absolutely amazing for Bitcoin. The weekly close here also looks insane, closing in this major supply zone, which is showing a lot of strength. We can see this is a major supply zone based on the wicks here for Bitcoin, but of course a weekly close above that level is going to be highly bullish. So I'm super excited to see where Bitcoin is going to be heading next. I do think now is going to be the moment and the stage to make new all-time highs in the next few days. Also, this double bottom pattern for Bitcoin is perfectly playing out like we have been predicting, and there is still a move left in the tank here to about 130,000 US dollars. If Bitcoin is going to play out that move, of course I will get a little bit more cautious, because I do think Bitcoin could then be getting closer and closer to topping out eventually. So let's see about that. Of course I will keep you guys up to date on the channel here, but we are definitely entering some very important weeks for Bitcoin here, and also finding a possible cycle top maybe. Not only the weekly close above this major resistance levels looks very good, but also the weekly close for Bitcoin out of this symmetrical triangle looks of course absolutely amazing. So I'm super excited about that. Also a weekly breakout out of a super bullish continuation pattern like this is of course going to hint us that more upside could be coming for Bitcoin in the near future here. So yes, I'm very excited about that. Also seasonality wise, Bitcoin does of course look very good, both on the monthly returns but also on the weekly returns here. I do think Bitcoin still has the best weeks basically of the year, of the post-halving year ahead of us. So seasonality wise we do have some major weeks incoming still, and that can be said for the weekly but also of course for the monthly returns, because we do know that Q4 is one of the most bullish quarters for both Bitcoin and Ethereum. Yeah, Bitcoin on the daily of course also breaking out this bull flag, which does look majorly bullish, but in my opinion I do think the symmetrical triangle here is a little bit more important on the weekly, on the bigger perspective of course. But yeah, Bitcoin of course broke the downtrend, then moves to new all-time highs, so that does look very good. Bouncing off this both horizontal and level of ascending support, basically the ascending channel, and this horizontal support level exactly bouncing from off those levels like we have been predicting. And yet there we saw quite a big Bitcoin move, and I do think that in this ascending channel Bitcoin is going to make another higher high, and from there we have to see how the price action will be looking like and what Bitcoin's next move is going to be. But I do think most definitely this higher high is still coming for Bitcoin in the near future. And now I do want to give a big update on my Ethereum trading position, because now I'm in a 1.3k profit. Of course, we have been absolutely perfectly predicting this Ethereum move lately here. Unfortunately, my 3.8k limit order did just not get filled here on this move lower, but yeah, I'm still very happy about our Ethereum position here and how we have been making it with each other, because we have been accumulating in this buy the dip zone for Ethereum with each other on the channel. So we perfectly predicted this. I do still think that now we are starting to see indeed somewhat of a consolidation zone, like I predicted here, because that is also what happened in this fractal after breaking back above the 50 daily moving average. Because for the people that don't know, this fractal is basically the May to June consolidation phase, also 2025. There we saw the consolidation, we saw them break below the 50 daily moving average, then a liquidity sweep at the 100 daily moving average, a bounce back up higher, a reclaim of the 50 daily, and there we saw some consolidation. And basically this scenario has exactly been playing out once again for ETH. So yeah, we have been perfectly predicting this, and I do still think, because I'm seeing the question a lot, that yes, this consolidation phase is still going to be an interesting zone to add a little bit more. But yeah, I'm just a little bit more cautious. I do have a little bit of patience now, since I am already quite deep into my positions. So yeah, I simply don't need to rush to increase my position size, but ultimately I do think it's still a very interesting zone. If you do want to add some to your ATM trade, open new trades, or trade a lot of other altcoin pairs on LBANK here, make sure to check out the link in the description on this update video. If you're going to use that link, you will get redirected to this page where you can claim a 50% deposit bonus and a lot of other benefits, so make sure to check it out. Actually, this expired yesterday, but LBANK did extend it for me and of course the audience here, because we do think it's going to be a major opportunity here. Not only you can claim some benefits for yourself, but you will also be supporting the channel if you're going to make use of this campaign. So yeah, make sure to check it out if you're getting interested in that. And from there, let's dive back into this Ethereum chart, because we just talked about this buy the dip zone for ETH, but also what I'm seeing for ETH now is the reclaim of this major first resistance but now support level. Ultimately, once we did break above this level during the May to June consolidation phase in 2025, we saw from there big continuation. So super excited about that. This does look very good. Last time we saw the reclaim, we saw a move of about 140% for ETH. So if history could be repeating here, we are definitely in for a very bullish period in the markets here. Also for Ethereum, I do think Bitcoin will take the spotlights now, because the Bitcoin dominance does tend to move a little bit higher in the September and October months. So for me, it does make a lot of sense for ETH and altcoins to lag behind a little bit here, maybe for the next 2 weeks even. And from there, ultimately seeing that Ethereum final wave and also the big pushes for altcoins ahead of us later in October and maybe also just the beginning of November. Let's see about that. But it does make a lot of sense for me that yes, altcoins and Ethereum still lag behind Bitcoin a little bit, because looking at the Bitcoin dominance seasonality, that does make a lot of sense. Also the others, so the smallest altcoins, smaller caps, do usually tend to start moving in the November months over the last few years. So yeah, probably I do think something similar is going to happen here, and October could still be a little bit slow for altcoins. It's definitely not an altcoin season year yet. We are not close to 2021 and 2017 levels, but that is in my opinion only an opportunity to be taking positions, to be buying on spot, because before the altcoin season is going to kick in, you do want to position yourself in the market here, like I'm for example doing with my Ethereum trade. So if you're getting interested in that, make sure to claim that 50% deposit bonus. And if you're still looking for a community with altcoin setups but also just market insights, make sure to join our private VIP Telegram group. Also, this is linked in the description on this update video. Here you can find my altcoin season setups, but also from Crypto Rover and 5 professional other traders. For example, yesterday we had an amazing Ethereum trade once again in the private community, so make sure to check it out, because here you can definitely develop yourself. If you want to prepare yourself for Q4 and you do want access to these setups and altcoin season insights, crypto insights, just daily market thoughts, make sure to join the group here, and then I will see you there. Also guys, that was it for today's update video. I hope you guys enjoyed this update video, and I will see you guys within my next update video tomorrow.